Welcome to this series about selling, or more importantly, and I'll go into this later, buying. So I have observed over lots and lots and lots of sales in my professional career, in businesses that I've run, with and without others, in all sorts of endeavors. All sales are the same, even when they're not. And the reason I say this, and this is not just my opinion, this is based on advice and coaching that I've had from my mentors, and they have been successful in a variety of fields, in all walks of life. Some of them have been titans of industry. I hate that term, but they have risen to the top and been the biggest software company CEO in Australia, or they have been one of the most successful aviation specialists in the world, designing planes and the like. Or they have built and run their own businesses cross industry, cross countries, cross language, and they just have wealth, right? They are successful and they completely own their life. And I've been lucky enough to be able to be mentored by some of them to varying degrees. But also, I am an avid reader. I read as much as I can because life is about learning. Life is always about the next thing and doing things just a little bit better. At least it is for me. Like, I'm always wanting to improve. And so it's one of the reasons that I'm doing this video series, that some of my friends in the real estate or the vehicle business for agriculture have said, look, Andrew, you seem pretty good at this thing. I've seen your results. I've seen how you live. Would you mind sharing some of what it is that you do? Hence this series of videos. And so what I found is that there are 5 steps to every sale. Now, whether that's in business, personal life, whatever. First off, there is the connect. This is important. People buy from people. People buy from people that they like. Right? If they don't like you, they're almost certainly not going to buy from you. Or if they do, it's not going to be a happy agreement. So, connecting, there's so much involved in this, but connecting is the very first step in this interpersonal relationship that you're about to begin, this process. Once you have connected, and there's lots of ways to do this, but once you've connected, the next step is the disturb, right? You need to find their pain. You can't tell them their pain, you need to find it. Even if you know it, you need to get them to tell you, right? Once you have the pain, well, now you've got something to build upon. Like, without pain, what problem are you solving? Right? If you're not solving a problem, why are you there? Right? All sales should be ethical, like legal, moral, ethical. You're solving someone else's problem. Otherwise, what is the point? Right? So, without a pain, there is no problem. Without a problem, there's no sale. Right? That's simple math. So, once you've got the disturb, you've identified the pain, and there's much more to unpack in that, then there's your product or service or solution, like whatever it is you're selling. Could be a tractor, could be property management, might be software, right? That's largely my background. So the product is whatever it is that you use to solve their pain. After that, step 4 is the next steps. Like, there needs to be some progression. Like, what do you do? What does the prospect do? What do you do together to progress this solving of the pain? Right? There needs to be some tangible step. Without it, you've kind of just had a nice chat. Well, nice for you and maybe not nice for them after you've just uncovered all this pain and made them feel really bad. Right? So next steps are important. There needs to be a clear path. How do we resolve this pain for you? How do you solve this problem with my thing? Right? And then there's the sense of urgency. Right? Now, that might be time, limitations, supply. There's some reason why this pain needs to be solved. Right? Now, it's going to be different for different customers or prospects. It's going to be different for different industries, different times of the year. Right? It could be regulatory based. It might be an impact on government. It might be policy and legislation that's been passed. It might be there's a market event coming up. There's an industry event. It could be a competitor's actions. It could be things have changed. Right? There's huge reasons for there to be a sense of urgency. But without it, how do you get that next step that you've just agreed on to actually happen? Now, most people out of that list of 5 things, they think that the most important is the product. Now, interestingly, your product is the least important thing. Now, that's not to say that your product isn't great. I hope it is. It probably is. But in the grand scheme of things, in this process, your product is not the most important thing. Nay, it is the least important. What most people fail to understand is the 2 most important things in this 5-step process upon which all sales are the disturb and the sense of urgency. If you don't get their pain, what are you doing there? If you don't create a sense of urgency, how are you going to get over it? Right? So, this is what I have found. This is what others have found. This is what they have taught me. This is what these books and thousands of hours of CDs that I've listened to, that seminars I've gone to, that studying at actual masters, like, I'm okay. I've sold millions of dollars of hardware, of software, of services across different industries, products. I've sold free stuff, right? I've sold millions of dollars for a pilot that the customer would normally expect that they would get for free as an evaluation or like a proof of concept, right? Because I understand this process. And this is not something that I've made up on my own. This is something I've learned from those who truly are great. And one day I aspire to be that good. But this is why I've been successful. This is why, in my last organization, I was in the 100% club, 4 out of 5 eligible years. This is why, in my last year of being a field salesperson, that my numbers were so good, right? To give you some perspective, I had a target that was 3 times what it was the year before because I'd been excelling and they expanded my product suite. And I had multiple reps that I had to work with. I was a specialist overlay. I had 2 countries I was covering. And on top of that, I was doing other leadership things inside the organization. But halfway through the year, I was already at 80% of my number. And my next 2 quarters had a 4 and a 5x pipeline. So I was going to hit my number in Q3. Now, this was really good for accelerators, right? But what really drove me was this passion to do more. And it's why I'm doing this for those friends that I spoke about earlier in this video, that I just want to help people get better. I want to be able to leave a mark and to share, right? One of the things that I learned is to give freely without the expectation of a return, but be open to it, right? That's what Bob Burg talks about in The Go-Giver, right? To constantly add value. Hence this series, right? So to recap, to bring it back to the point that all sales are the same. There are 5 stages: connect, disturb, the thing you're selling, the product, the next steps, and the sense of urgency. And if you can craft your process along those lines, you've got a great foundation to build success upon. Now, there are lots of sales methodologies out there. Many of them are fantastic. This process still applies to spin, to value selling, right? To all of those, to RSVP, right? This same process in different names and different ways you carve it up is there in all of them. And it's just I like it because it's simple. So, connect, disturb, product, next steps, sense of urgency. You'll be great. Thank you.